Hey friends, if you've ever said, I trust God, but I still feel like I need to control everything or it all might fall apart, this episode is for you. We are going to conclude our 3-part series on letting go of control. And we're going to be talking about what true surrender actually looks like. Not the passive kind, but the powerful kind that activates peace, aligns timelines, and attracts everything you've been praying for. So this episode is your permission slip to let go without letting yourself down. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up.
Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Wieme, and this is the final episode of our 3-part series on the illusion of control. And I say illusion because we think we're in control, but really, friends, we aren't as in control as we think. And actually, the control is probably controlling us. So if you've been with me for the first 2 episodes, you already know that we've been calling out the hidden ways that we control things, that control shows up, and how it keeps us stuck in hustle, anxiety, and resistance. But today is more about the anecdote. Today is what we can do to allow control to kind of go to the backside. This is really all about surrender. And I'm not talking about passive, powerless giving up, but sacred, strategic letting go. It's the kind that just feels like flow. It feels like ease. And I know that if you've been listening to me for a while, you are ready to spiral up in this space of massive forward momentum without the hustle, without the grind, without the force, and allow things to happen to be able to come to you with peace and flow and ease. And I got to tell you, friends, this is exactly what I've been experiencing for the last probably 2 years. And it has been an amazing ride. My business has exploded, but I am working less and I'm less stressed out. And it feels so aligned. And that's what I want for you. Okay. So what we're going to talk about again is the surrender part of it. It's the letting go part. This is the part of the surrender that opens the doors that you've been, trying to knock down, right? It aligns timelines that felt impossible before, and it restores the peace where you have only felt pressure. And I can't wait to talk about what surrender really means and how to live in it without feeling like you're falling behind, because I don't want that to happen either, right? Because I think sometimes we tell ourselves that if we let go, that is all going to fall apart. We're going to get behind, and that's not what we want. And that creates more anxiety, right? So I want to get something straight first. Okay. So surrender does not mean sitting on your couch, binge watching Netflix and hoping that God just magically deposits 10 clients in your inbox. Like, that's not what we're talking about. Remember that the manifestation equation requires us to get into aligned, inspired action. But surrender really means that you take aligned action and release the attachment to the outcome. That is a key here, guys. You follow divine nudges instead of overthinking every single move. You trust God's timing, even when your timeline is screaming, I'm so late, like I'm behind, I need to catch up. In the metaphysical world, surrender is the moment that your frequency shifts from force to faith, to letting go. It's like that beautiful sigh of exhalation and just knowing and trusting. And I got to tell you that when that happens, your energetic field becomes magnetic, and you stop chasing and things start to find you. And this is where I love the introduction and the intersection, I guess, of faith and quantum physics and brain science, because all of these things come together. So let's be real. I'm going to call things out as far as like where you might be right now. So if you're constantly refreshing your email after every launch, you're micromanaging your VA's copy, you're feeling guilty when you rest, you're playing out what if it doesn't work scenarios at 3 a.m., that is not surrender. That's anxiety dressed up as responsibility. And you can't manifest miracles from a frequency of fear. So one of my clients, I'm going to call her Janelle, told me that I say that I'm trusting God, but I also triple check my calendar, obsessing over whether my captions are converting, and working through dinner because what if launch doesn't work, right? So she's constantly in this hustle mode. Like, she says that she wants to trust God, but she finds herself continuing to do. And I wanted to just ask, does that sound familiar? And so what I had to give her was my little truth of the hug, which is to tell her that that's not trust, that's fear in a business suit. And what we were able to do was work on grounding into enoughness, and we reframed her time strategy. This is a thing, a lot of times people talk about money scarcity, but oftentimes we have a time scarcity. And again, that's fear creeping in our ability and wanting to control in order to lessen that fear. And so what we did was we framed her time strategy, and she started blowing. Like, you guys, in the next week, she got 3 inquiries from people who'd been watching her for months, but never reached out until the day that she finally just let go, like stopped the desperate energy, the control energy, and allowed God to take over the how. She knew what she wanted, but then she allowed the trust and the faith to allow God to work out the how. And when we can embody that energetic magnetism, things will start to flow to us that we don't have to force it. Again, this is not just sitting on the couch doing nothing. You have to take aligned action, but it's the surrender in the how, and it's the surrender into doing all the things, and just knowing that you've done your part and that God can do his part. So this is where the science meets the spirit. Okay. So you cannot think your way out of surrender. You have to feel safe enough in your body to let go. This is what I talk about when I talk about embodiment. This isn't not a fake it till I make it, because the difference with that is that I'm telling myself something, but I don't believe it in my heart, right? We have to feel safe in our heart first in order to let our body to feel safe enough to let go. And this is why the nervous system regulation is not just self-care, it's literally a manifestation strategy. Because if your body is stuck in fight or flight, it doesn't matter how many affirmations you say, you're still subconsciously grabbing for control. That's why breath work, grounding, stillness, even walking without your phone can actually speed up your results, because when your body relaxes, your soul gets louder. And surrender happens in the space between your thoughts. That's where God whispers. One of the things that I use a lot for myself and my clients is some software that actually analyzes 10 seconds of our voice. And it is able to pick up the 3 emotions that we're currently out of range overexpressing and the one we've been repressing. And it gives me music, a prescription of musical tones to listen to that balances out my outer range emotions, basically bringing me into neuroregulation, bringing my heart into safety, bringing my aura into a place of calm. And when I can get into that space, then I can start to think differently. And this is all going to be intertwined in what we do. Is we have to recognize that it starts with the heart first. And allowing ourselves to surrender is really allowing ourselves to lead with that heart and not allowing our fear-based brain to take over control. So let's clear up this really huge lie, okay? If I surrender, I'm going to fall behind. If I surrender, I'm going to fall behind. Like, how many of you guys have felt that way? Like, I definitely know I did when I was stuck in my hustle for the sake of hustling, period of my life, I guess. It's like, if I knew that 10 things would get me there, I knew that 20 would get me there faster. And so I just hustled, controlled. And I got further and further behind because of the things that we're talking about today. Sis, you are not behind if you surrender. God is not on your Google Calendar. You are not missing exits to your destiny if you surrender. No opportunity that is truly yours will require hustle and panic and perfection to claim it. If it is yours, it is there. And I think back to when I was in that hustle space of my, wanting it so badly. And I think there's some confusion around that. Like Napoleon Hill calls it this burning desire, right? There's a burning desire, but that doesn't need to come with like neediness and desperation. It's literally like this burning desire that feels delicious. I want to experience that. Like, that's where it feels like home to me. That's what that burning desire is. And I remember being confused with that. And I would be sitting on an airplane and be thinking about like, oh my gosh, like my mentors have told me that if I don't talk to the person next to me on the airplane, they might be my next $1 million earner, and I missed that chance. And so I would force myself into the space of like mustering up this conversation. And as an introvert, like I need my time, right? But I would force myself to muster up these conversations. Now, I've met some amazing people on plane rides, like because of that. But I will tell you that like none of them turn into my $1 million earners. And I'm not saying that that's a bad technique, but it's the energy and the intention in which you go about it. I have also sparked up some really amazing natural conversations with people on airplanes that I still communicate with today. But it wasn't out of a place of desperation. It was about out of a place of like, ooh, this person feels aligned. And we just got into this literally, I'm thinking about one person in particular, Rachel, on my way to Austin. We still connect. Like she was so amazing. We actually met. She was a perfect stranger. We met for lunch while I was there. And we just got to talking about all the things that we were passionate about. It was so aligned. And so there's a difference, friends. And this is where I want you guys to understand that when you can just surrender, beautiful opportunities are going to just find their way into your life. You don't have to force it. So I'm going to tell you that again, that no opportunity that is truly yours will require hustle, panic, or perfection to claim it. Surrender doesn't mean it's going to take longer. In fact, it means that things will move faster because you're no longer resisting the very thing that's trying to find you. So how do we actually practice surrender? Especially when you're a woman who's used to being the one that holds it all together. I know that I'm, you guys, you know me, like we're real here, right? And so you're the person who's holding it all together. You're the person who's responsible for making it all work. And it feels really, really scary and vulnerable to let go and surrender and trust God and have faith and all those things. Like they sound good in your brain, but in your heart, you're like, oh, panic, right? So this is what I want you to try, okay? I want you to try a let go list. I want you to write down a let go list, write down 3 to 5 things that you're releasing this week. It could be control over your child's bedtime routine, your business metrics, or even somebody else's opinion, okay? It's amazing when you delegate that to the universe, how it just shakes itself out. And I literally was talking to my friend this morning about this. It's like, ooh, like I forgot my phone at home when I was out of town. And I'm like, okay, all right, there's a reason. Like I'm supposed to be unplugged. It's fine. We were, too late to turn around. And I'm like, it's going to be fine. And then I got home and I had like a gazillion messages in my inbox and I'm behind and all these things. It's like, no, like I'm just going to delegate this to the universe. Like the things that are supposed to be taken care of are going to be taken care of either naturally by themselves. My assistant is going to kick in. It's going to be a divinely orchestrated timeline and I'm just going to let that go. And it feels so, so great. And I guess what? I'm caught up. Number 2, set surrender anchors in your day. Okay, so what does that mean? That means it might be you just allow yourself a moment on a timer on your phone to take a big breath and pray. Or a Post-it note on your mirror and the reminder that says, God's got this. It's like, I do this oftentimes on my phone. I'll set little like reminders throughout the day or alarms throughout the day with a little caption to them, just to give me the space back to just remember, like, God's got this. I'm okay, right? And then ask yourself daily, am I moving from alignment or anxiety? I ask my clients all the time to think about this. Are you making this decision out of love or fear? And that anxiety is fear, just wrapped up in a different mask, right? So am I making this decision? Am I moving? Am I making this choice, this action out of alignment or anxiety? And then finally, I just want to honestly give yourself some grace. You're not falling behind. You're not failing if you catch yourself controlling again. You're healing. Give yourself some grace here, okay? So my love, like I just wanted to wrap this up. Like if you're sick of clinging, you've been clinging, if your mind is tired and your body's been carrying too much, this is your invitation to exhale, to trust, to remember that your enough-ness is the frequency that miracles recognize. Surrender is not a step back. It is a leap forward into peace, power, and provision. It is your leap forward to peace, power, and provision. I want you to have massive impact. I want you to have massive abundance. I want you to live a life that you want. But that life is guided by love and it is guided by the deliciousness that God has placed in your heart. And it is allowing yourself to know what you want. It's allowing yourself to trust without doubt. And it's allowing yourself to take those aligned, inspired actions, releasing the control, releasing the how, and doing what next right step God places on your heart, and to just take that aligned action and the next aligned action and the next aligned action after that. Stop forcing, stop controlling, allowing yourself to surrender, allow yourself to breathe. And when you're in that place, that neuro-regulated place where you're no longer striving and feeling this anxiety bubbling up, you will actually put yourself in a frequency that is starting to attract miracles, attract your ideal clients, attracting the abundance. There's so much that can happen from this. And I get it. I get it that this is how we've been wired. I get it that this is how you've gotten through your whole life because you're successful. And you've gotten this successful because of the way that you've been operating. But if you're listening to this and you're feeling a little bit of like just tingles as far as this recognition, like, yes, I know that my hustle has gotten me this far. And yes, I know that my ability to control everything has made me feel safe up to this point, but this is not something that I want to carry into this next version of me. This is not something that I want to sustain for the next 30 years. I'm wanting to exhale, Lachelle. I want to just allow things to happen freely and with fun and with ease and with joy and this flow. And I got to tell you, friends, that I know it can happen because I experience that myself and I see it with my clients over and over again. In fact, we are now currently in the enrollment of our next retreat, the Becoming Experience retreat that's going to be happening in Greece in October. And I have so many clients that have learned from that experience that they can live this beautiful life by design without having to force things. And they learn how to embody that version of themselves that is willing to let go of control and is willing to embrace faith. I had one person that came with me to the Dominican, and she's like, Lachelle, I got home and my family said that they didn't recognize me. Like, I was not getting worked up over the little things. I was allowing peace and fun and joy just flow through my family and my household. And I was a different person, and they recognized it. And guess what? Their family, her family started to resonate with that vibration, not the vibration of controlling and hustling and making sure all these pieces fit, but of love and joy. And guess what? They just naturally started to pick up the slack. It didn't create more stress, and it wasn't controlling. It was literally allowing the family to be able to experience the peace of what it feels like to just surrender. And she's told me this has been, gosh, I'm trying to think. I think it'll be like 9 months since we went to the Dominican. But like, she's like, my life is completely different since I came home still. Like my family and my friends and my work know that something has shifted in me. Like, I've lost weight. I'm happier. I sleep better. My family's happier. That's what I want. I know it's possible. And I know that even a quick, 7 days with me at this Becoming Experience retreat can flip it like that. So I hope this episode helped, but I also want you to know that there are other tools that you guys have. And so I'm going to make sure that you have the link to check out the Becoming Experience retreat in the show notes. And I'm going to tell you that these are limited because I keep them very intimate. It's very high touch, very luxurious, and very just, I guess intimate is the word that I'm going to use, because I want people to feel really seen, heard, and taken care of in this space. And I want to make sure that I do that to my very best ability, and my team can too. So make sure that you're taking action on that. We have a Q&A Zoom that we're going to be putting together to answer questions about the Becoming Experience retreat, but you guys can also book a quick little talk with me, and I can make sure that you're a good fit energetically too. But I want to see this for you. I want to see this for you. So I'm just going to close with saying that this wraps up our third part in the series of the Illusion of Control. And we've had some different episodes come in between, so they weren't consecutive, but I felt very strongly that we needed to have all three of these pieces. And so if you love this journey and you want to go deeper, you are invited. This is exactly why we tackle these things inside of the Spiral Up Success Club. And again, at my upcoming retreat. So don't just talk mindset. We rewire it. We don't just journal about surrender. We live it. I teach you how to embody it so that if you're ready to co-create the results in your business, your life, and your leadership from the most aligned, regulated, radiant self, come and find me on Instagram at Dr. Lachelle Wieme, or apply for coaching in the show notes. Okay. So until next time, take a deep breath, let go, and let's spiral up. All right. I'll see you next time. And I'm so glad that you're here on this journey with me. We got this. Okay.
So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.